The biggest challenge, uh, it's actually, you know, getting everyone on board, getting all the stakeholders on board, getting my colleagues to understand the concepts that we try to put forward on board. And this is really, for me, it's understandable. I do not see it as a problem, and I don't want to see it as a problem because this is based on a proposal concept that a few of us responded to the RFA based on the initiative, which I every time said with every opportunity that this is a great initiative coming from the U.S. government through the NIH to empower the African institutions to restructure and enhance our medical education program in the continent. So we responded, and we responded based on our background coming from our involvement in the PEPFAR program. Some of us have been involved in the HIV programs, responding to the problem of HIV in the country for well over 25 years. And, people just people coming, and then integrating this into our structured training program. It's understandable that a lot of people, there will be questions, and so we try to resolve this by engaging ourselves, making people to understand initiatives, and particularly, our own first aim is looking at our curriculum, medical, dental, nursing, other health professional curricula. Some of them have not been revised for so many years. So this has become a great opportunity to get ourselves, to do things in the best practices, what is the current concept in medical education across the globe. So, a few of us, sitting down to do this, and then now carrying your colleagues along to understand. So it's a quick lesson that, completely different from the kind of project that we do. And as I said, I'm a virologist. I have my project. I have my, ideas to investigate myself and my teams in the lab. But this is completely different. First is the whole institution of the college, the medical school within your campus. And for me particularly, to be able to carry my colleagues along in the other 5 schools for us to understand. And particularly, place like us in Africa, communication is still a major issue. You want things done, you are expecting, but again, we meet regularly, we discuss this, we ensure that the leadership of the various institutions on board. For instance, on June 21st, we had of 2012, we had a consultant, actually a vice president of research and graduate studies from our university who are done so, invited to speak with the vice chancellors, deputy vice chancellors, deans of these 6 schools. So all these measures of engagement, of regular discussion, and then this is second year of our program. People are beginning to see the results of the activity. So by now, everyone is on board. Everyone wants to be part of MEPI. In fact, if there's anything now, it's becoming, virtually everything, it's about MEPI, to address the issue of our program. So it's really, has been a journey and a learning opportunity for me and my colleagues that are directly involved in the implementation of this project. Success, it's actually been part of this program and able to implement this program. But also, particularly, as I said, for the first time, 6 universities in Nigeria are coming together to implement the same ideas, vision, collective, looking at through this university, 6 universities, restructuring and enhancing our medical education in the country. And good enough for us, these are 6 leading universities. And if you look at the way we are spread up, and I tell you, not that we sat down to select, but this came up from our previous involvement, working together on the HIV problem, as I said earlier, and they are all, spread out across the country. So hoping and believing that with ability to implement this program in these 6 universities, it will quickly diffuse within the region across. And we also have the National University Commission, which is the regulatory body, the supervisory body for education and tertiary education in the country, on board, fully on board. So through these 6 universities, activities we believe we actually get across to the. So it's coming together. When we started with the support of our partners from the United States, Professor Phyllis Kanke from Harvard School of Public Health and Professor Rob Murphy was, the first advice was, why not put your effort together and come up, solid strong, rather than, competing amongst yourself. And this has really helped us. And now it's so strong, it's turning out like implementing 6 MEPI programs at the same time with 1 award that we have. So I will say this is the overarching, success of able to come together, able to carry ourselves along, able to, look at the same problem from 6 different angles, to say. And each of the institutions has its own team. So the leadership will meet formally every quarter, but also as a situation arises, we call ourselves, we are so close, by email, almost on daily basis. I'm on mail with my colleagues working in the different universities. So, and we all have this commitment to, achieve the objectives of this program and the specific aims that we've laid out for ourselves, with the general support and funding, by the U.S. government. So this, I will say, I consider a great benefit and success so far in this program. Of course, our ability to introduce some of the specific ideas and aims, they now are the following, effect of our coming together. I see really a change. First, very strong faculties, and for me, much of our efforts were actually putting in the faculty. In a program, I personally call it building the builders. We looked at our effort, and I must give credit also to a previous U.S. support that my university had, the MacArthur Foundation. The MacArthur Foundation supported the University of Ibadan, I think in the last 12, 13 years. We've enjoyed, on essentially capacity development. And being part of the administration of the university for some time, I can clearly see the result of this. People had enjoyed training, benefited, their outputs, their attitude, their outlook, in terms of what we expect to see in an academic environment, It's very clear compared to. So part of our funding this, we have put essentially on faculty development, and we are pursuing this aggressively in the 6 universities. And so with all this, I see in 5 years, in 10 years, a completely changed academic environment, a positive academic environment. And in Ibadan particularly, we are looking at much of research capacity building. And in 5 years, in 10 years, I see Ibadan very, very high on the radar of the NIH. Personally, I'm looking at this to get my colleagues and others. And we are investing so heavily from the MEPI fund on the young faculties. We are training them because these are, the next generation that will take over from us. And we are looking at, if you give what we call the good academic and particularly research culture right from the beginning of their career, they will excel, they will perform, they will deliver. And this we are doing through training, we are doing through seed funding, mentored research, training on mentoring and mentorship, a whole lot of things that we are doing. So in 5 years, in terms of our mandate at university, we have these three things: teaching, research, and service. But research is at the center of the other two. If you're a good researcher with very good output, it will impact on your training, teaching. It will impact on your service as clinician, laboratory, whatever the area. So it's going to be completely changed. And looking at number, we'll be contributing tremendously to the number. In Nigeria particularly, there are several medical schools. We have quota and admission. So each of the schools may not quickly, but in terms of overall output, in terms of other programs that we are introducing, nursing, I mentioned certification program, we are introducing even postgraduate courses in HIV medicine, HIV science. And one area, innovative way of we are thinking of making this possible is to get to e-learning, distance learning. So now we are in the stage of developing, actually improving our e-learning platform at the University of Ibadan. And then from the University of Ibadan, we'll be delivering these courses to other 5 universities. So from one point, we can actually teach these courses in 6 universities. And from there, after piloting and establishing ourselves, this will become available to other universities across the world. This will be good for us as a country, and particularly also the NIH funding says whatever you come up with, it becomes available. It becomes a public information thing. And so I see it completely different, and we sit now and reflect that time and say, thank God, thank the US government for bringing this to us. In my time, I used to tell the students, the young, used to go get an index card, do abstracts and all those things. And gradually things changed. Over technology became available. And the first source was my own from my end that helped was the Neri thing, which, through the support of the NIH, National Library of Medicine, training introduced, and that changed everything. For us, we have a very good, well-established medical library in Ibadan. So with MEPI, we sat down with the librarian and looked at the area. And the first is area of bibliography for our young students, postgraduate students. So we've been having training program that the library department have been helping through the MEPI support from MEPI, have 2-3 days training, and you just need to hear the comments of this individual, not even the young staff and postgraduates, senior academic. Many people say, oh, we didn't know this was available. This is there. I know. So we are looking at this, and the area of my way of looking at this sustainability is the leadership of the college of all the 6 universities are on board, as I said earlier. So a lot of these initiatives we are introducing and implementing, we want to integrate them into the system. So, for instance, the library question, we want these training modules and program to be part of what the courses that students will take and young staff at orientation, and there will be updates from time to time, so that because our work, it's your best depends on your access to information to be able to identify gap, to be able to come up with very clear statement of problem that you want to investigate as researcher. So the library is a major cornerstone in an academic environment, teaching, even research, service, and at the level we are tertiary institution, the library should be there and strong. And that's why in our MEPI program, the library is. But we must also thank you, because in the planning of our program, which is the usual fault of a researcher, you are looking at everything from all your narrow. It's later that you're discovering that, oh, I need the larger environment to be able to do this. Personally, actually, my first is being part of this program, being part of this great, laudable initiative, being part of network of African institutions, and then particularly as an individual, being one of the leaders as a PI, first PI of this nature of program or project. I've implemented research projects that you are directly, but this is carrying a whole lot of people, to be able to achieve the same common goal that we've set for ourselves. So it's been a great opportunity, but personally, it's able to put my ideas of what a system, an academic system, should really be in place. Especially, I personally had very good support growing up as an academician. I had, and I still say have, good mentors. And so, over years, I discovered this waning out in our system. So, being in the leadership of this is a good opportunity to reintroduce some of this. I will tell you, University of Ibadan was once rated 4th in the Commonwealth of universities, and this we lost over years. But the idea, the concept that got Ibadan into this are still there. Luckily, some of us trained, we had support of people. It's a university with strong tradition, strong system established, but funding is a big program, a big problem. You have ideas you cannot and not. So now, training young people along what a good part in a career in academia should be, putting these ideas of how things should be done, giving them the empowerment right from, gives me a personal joy, an opportunity that, we can put this and we can build the next generation of African and Nigerian academicians who will really be able to engage and become global players and contribute, particularly in our own area of health in future, gives me. So I now know through MEPI and these activities, the tomorrow of medical education and health professional education in Nigeria is actually guaranteed. You see, the ripple, the fallout, the beneficial effect of developing human capital, you cannot just quantify it immediately. It grows with time and matures, and it's catalytic. You train one person now, that person trains several generations. So putting these ideas right at the early stage, the formative stage of many of our youngsters at this time is a great opportunity. And being part of that, I count that as a personal blessing that I'm able to do this through this support from the NIH. Main lesson, I would say, also from what I said earlier about the challenges, it's about engagement, positive engagement of colleagues, respect, others' ideas, learning from others. I tell you, I've learned tremendously, particularly from the idea of symposium. Year one, you will recollect each of the institutions put up its application, but very well organized and planned. Year one, we all met, interacted, and all those things. And, we learned from each other. And even within the country, we learned from each other. And it's about learning and learning. And a lot of what you think are so difficult or maybe difficult, you discover that discussing, asking people, and they're possible. And with patience, we'll be able to. When we started, I looked at it, this is a huge project. This is challenging. First to say, I'm a Fogarty Fellow. I had the Fogarty Fellowship, Research Fellowship training, 90 to 92. I had the Lady Tata. So I spent some time in the US, and 97, 98, I was at the NIH at the immunogenetics lab. So I've had this exposure and working relationship with the NIH for quite a while. And when this came, I said, look, as people say, this is like really a test of your career and ability, but sitting carefully following and also following rules of engagement. These are lessons that these things are not difficult at all. They are achievable, you can do it, and they are there. These are the things. I communicate a lot. We have the PI Council, we have a network of mailing system, and I contribute to issues, discussion. I ask questions, and my colleagues within the MEPI, I'm a very open and frank, person, an academician. You can't afford not to. So it's I contribute, and I learn too from them. For instance, now there's a program I'm trying to work together with 3 or 4 of our universities in the different regions of Africa to respond to some RFA, to have joint application on also some training program. So it's another great opportunity of working together in the network. Without MEPI, I wouldn't have met many of these my colleagues doing great work in their different universities in the country. And one thing is we have similar, I won't say common, but very, very similar, but each of us waiting at different corners of the world before. Now we now know we have a common objective, common goal of enhancing medical education, empowering ourselves, and thinking of the next generation of academicians in the region. So I do communicate a lot and being part of the discussion of how to move the program forward. I do this every time I have the opportunity. It's an initiative of the U.S. government, as I say, and I let my colleagues know. And this has always been something I reflect upon every time as a Nigerian who I really benefited tremendously, as I said, from the generosity and support of the American government. And I look at the role American government and the American citizens have played across the world, and it's great. I mentioned MacArthur. My university in the early days, was supported tremendously by Rockefeller, by Ford Foundation, Carnegie. So all these major foundations, have really helped to build Ibadan. And now, we just got to about the end of MacArthur when MEPI came. So I say this is really great. This is helping the whole world and humanity, as a whole, and recommend this to other, developed countries, and particularly the leadership of African countries, to recognize the support we are getting from the U.S. government and reciprocate and contribute, and so that whatever it may be, it may not be major, big, but contribute. For instance, in this area, I really particularly want to commend the leadership of my university, the University of Ibadan, where I work. With the MEPI, we introduced MEPI. When we started implementing the curriculum that we worked upon, the medical, dental curricula, the Vice Chancellor, of course, a whole lot of things that will be required to implement effectively this. The Vice Chancellor, also being a member of the group, understands very well the vision of MEPI. So, we need the following facilities, and immediately approve huge sum of money to put up a building for a clinical skill lab, the basic sciences where we started implementation, gave large sum of money to the various departments, up to about $750,000 have been released to as almost the university side of it as contributing. And this is recognition of base that he has recognized that the university has to put something to ensure that these ideas really materialize and matures with time. So I'm pleading that other universities, or advocating that other universities, in fact, that was what informed the idea of getting the leadership partly of our 6 universities. So I presented all this to the leadership of the other 5 universities to see that he personally chaired the one-day symposium that we had for them. So this is my contribution, that I say we are receiving this help, we should also help ourselves, as the old saying that heaven help those who help themselves.